2008. Dear Michael, I've just discovered your website Poems in the Waiting Room UK and want to congratulate you on a wonderful scheme. Supplying short, free collections of poems for patients to read while waiting for medical appointments is terrific. I can't imagine anything better than coming across a poetry pamphlet in a waiting room. A definite improvement on reading magazine articles about facelifts, fashion and infidelity. Kind regards, Ruth Arneson. Dear Michael, thank you for the offer of the New Zealand licence for patois and also for funding to get the project off the ground. That wasn't my intention. When I wrote, I just wanted to give you an email pat on the back. After thinking it over for several days, I've decided to give it a go with your generous support. Kind regards, Ruth. Dear Robbie, Patois New Zealand, that's the shortened form of Poems in the Waiting Room, it's underway, mate. I've approached several poets who are all happy to loan me their poems, and I've found a printer. 500 poetry cards will be delivered to Dunedin medical waiting rooms this summer. Pretty exciting stuff happening down in Dunedin. Love to you, Mum. 2009. Dear Michael, greetings from New Zealand where patois is thriving. I've expanded the project and now distribute the cards to rest homes, prisons and hospices, and I've moved down south and over to the west coast with plans to move northwards. Now we have charity status, it makes it slightly easier applying for funding. Warm wishes, Ruth. Dear Michael, I know you think Braille is a bit out there, but I've decided to give it a go. The Blind Foundation are happy to transcribe the poems each season. A standard poetry card transcribed would be about 32 pages of Braille. Warmest of wishes, Ruth. Dear Edmund, I was saddened to hear of Michael's death. His generosity, thoughtfulness and belief in me has changed my life. In taking on patois, I've met, mostly via email, poets and publishers from all over the world. I will miss our exchanges. His emails of encouragement were beacons of light. Kind regards, Ruth. Dear Yuan, the UK teams asked me to give you any help you may need in setting up patois in Colombia. A Spanish edition sounds exciting. I'm happy to help. Just fire any questions my way. All good wishes, Ruth. Dear Robbie, I know, I can't believe it either. 7 years of patois. And here's some stats for you to delight in. During that time, we've published 270 poems and printed and distributed 107,000 cards. Right now, we're supplying 7,000 poetry cards every season to 427 medical waiting rooms, 281 rest homes, 4 hospices and 8 prisons. How cool is that? And yep, we're halfway up the North Island with our distribution now. Hugs to you, Mum. Dear Yuan, so pleased to hear Patois' success in Colombia. Yep, we do hold a national poetry competition. It's a way of raising funds and also it's a great source of poetry for future cards. Over the last 3 years I've organised 4 poetry exhibitions which featured New Zealand artists' work created in response to selected poems. Art workshops, poetry readings and artist talks, along with the opportunity to purchase art and poetry books, were accessories to all the events. And yes, as well as fun, they're fundraisers. Patois took 30% on all sales. Hugs back to you, Ruth. Dear Robbie, I bet Chris didn't realise what he was starting when he sent that picture of the little library at the end of his street. One look and I was hooked. It just had to be this year's Patois project. And last night our first Lilliput library was opened. There are 10 more libraries under construction and 9 scattered around Dunedin, being painted by school students, artists and friends. We're encouraging people to take a book and either return it or another book at a later date. I'm hoping they'll all become focal neighbourhood points, a bit like the old corner dairies. Love and hugs, Mum. Dear Chris, of course there's more to my life than patois. I'm really interested in Dunedin City happenings. Last week I emailed Glenn, a guy from the DCC, with ideas for Central City playgrounds. Anyway, apart from that, I told him about my walk to work and how I approach the Central City via Vogel Street, which I so enjoy, especially the winter mornings when the two gobo lights throw fabulous patterns on the pavement. He emailed back, "Ruth, there are 3 gobo lights." Funny how emails can add a light to your life. Hey, love, Mum.